Neurotransmitters v. hormones. These two terms are from Unit 3 of your textbook and are from the chapter about the biological bases of behavior. Neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers that are produced by the central nervous system and are specifically transmitted across the synaptic cleft. After the neurotransmitters are released into the synaptic cleft, they will bind to the receptor proteins and they stimulate the postsynaptic membrane. So some common examples of neurotransmitters would be like dopamine or norepinephrine. Hormones are the chemical messengers of the endocrine system and are transported throughout the body by the blood to target cells. Hormones are secreted by glands and they're able to stimulate a specific set of cells that are located somewhere else in the body and don't have any connection to the glands. Each gland will release a specific hormone or multiple hormones that help to regulate body activities. So one example of this would be the parathyroid gland, which releases PTH, and this regulates the amounts of calcium in the blood. So differences between them. Neurotransmitters belong to the nervous system, while hormones belong to the endocrine system. Transmission of neurotransmitters is across the synaptic cleft, while the transmission of hormones is via the blood. Hormones are produced by the endocrine glands, while neurotransmitters are produced by neurons, and the target cells of neurotransmitters can be specific neurons or specific cells, whereas hormones are often way far away from the endocrine gland. The action of the neurotransmitters is extremely fast. It will happen in milliseconds, while hormones last for a long time, take a while to come into effect. So some of the differences between neurotransmitters and hormones. Neurotransmitters belong to the nervous system, while hormones belong to the endocrine system. The transmission of neurotransmitters is across the synaptic cleft, while hormones are transmitted by the blood. Hormones are produced by the endocrine glands, while neurotransmitters are produced by neurons. Target cells of neurotransmitters are specific, often other neurons or other cells, whereas that of hormones is often some distance away from the endocrine gland. The action of neurotransmitters is extremely fast. It can be up to a few milliseconds, while hormones take longer to come into effect and can last for a longer period of time, which range for a few minutes to a few days to a few weeks. So one way to keep them straight is neurotransmitter has neuro in the beginning, neuro meaning brain, and so you can think of that relating to the central nervous system. While hormones, you obviously would think of a hormonal teenager. Phonemes versus morphemes. These two terms are from Unit 7 of your textbook, which is about cognition. A phoneme is the smallest unit or sound of language which serves to distinguish words from one another. A morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of language that cannot be broken into smaller parts, the key word in that sentence being meaningful. The key difference between a phoneme and a morpheme is that a phoneme is the basic unit of speech, which is used to create morphemes and other words. Another difference would be that a morpheme will carry a concrete meaning, while a phoneme doesn't carry any meaning at all. So a morpheme would be a word like run or cat, while the phoneme would be the at sound in cat or the hard C in cat. Alpha waves versus delta waves. These two terms are from Unit 5 of your textbook and deal with the states of consciousness. Alpha waves occur during periods of relaxation when your brain is still awake, but your brain becomes slower and the amplitude of the wave will increase. Alpha waves are often associated with states of relaxation and peacefulness, or during meditation and biofeedback. So they're when your brain is not fully awake, but neither is it asleep. Delta waves are the slowest waves and are the waves with the highest amplitude. Delta sleep is the deepest sleep, and it is the point during which your brains are least likely to wake.
Just think about it like you sleep on a plane. So like delta, so you can sleep when you're on a delta plane. There are 3 things to remember here. So, you can sleep on a plane. Delta is a triangle. The Illuminati is a triangle. The Illuminati controls your mind and makes you sleep. Delta like deep, dude. The 3 D's of sleep. These 3 things I've told you, they form a triangle. And that's how you remember delta waves. So this is from Unit 14 in your textbook regarding social psychology. Okay. So here's the difference between foot in the door and the door in the face phenomenons. Well, it's just that they're opposites. Foot in the door is asking for something small, knowing that you're going to ask for something bigger later, while door in the face is asking for something extravagant or something way over the top, knowing that whoever you're asking will say no, then asking for something smaller because you'll know they'll probably say yes. So for foot in the door, it would be like, oh, hey, what time is it? Oh, cool, that's the time? Thanks. Can I have $5? But door in the face would be like, hey, can I have $500,000? No? Oh, well, what about just 50? And they're much more likely to say yes that way. So that's kind of the deal with those two. Think of an actual foot in the door, like, hey, wait a minute. And then door in the face is kind of like hitting you with the harsh stuff. And the last pair we have are the feel-good, do-good phenomenon versus the adaptation level phenomenon from Module 83 in your textbook regarding experiences and emotions. So the feel-good, do-good phenomenon is people's tendency to kind of be helpful when they're already in a good mood. Like if you just got a really good grade on a test or just got in a new relationship, you're much more likely to help someone than if you hadn't been in that situation. So it's kind of self-explanatory. If you feel good, you will do good. And that's how you remember that. The adaptation level phenomenon is our tendency to form judgments based on our prior experience, and it kind of deals with sensation as well. Like, if it's 60 degrees in the summer, you'll be wearing a t-shirt, but if it's 60 degrees in the winter, you'll be wearing a sweater. It's all based off of this neutral basis that we live on. And it kind of lets us recalibrate our senses, if you will. And this theory is described by David G. Myers in his work The Pursuit of Happiness. You can remember that like the pursuit of adappiness. It describes the human tendency to judge various stimuli and situations relative to what we've previously experienced. And that's how you remember that. Take these tips and tricks and study!